Hi everyone, it's Kirsten Bowes, clinical psychologist, author of The Conscious Mother and creator of the Conscious Mother workshops and programs. Yet again, I am coming to you live from the Marseille Society International Conference, which is being held here in Melbourne. Wow, what a day. Heaps more learning. And you know what was really lovely about today is we had a focus on dads. Now, I know that I'm all about the conscious mother. I promise, ladies, I am not going to stop supporting you by any means, but we do have to really think about the men in our lives and how big a deal becoming a parent is for our partners as well. And so it was absolutely fantastic to, I guess, hear about some of the research that's being done, some of the programs that are being offered for fathers. And truly, it was just really great to hear. And as I said to you a few days ago, I wanted to bring you some of the information from the conference. And so, ladies and men, listen up. This is what I have learned today. So we do know that about 10% of men experience depression or anxiety following the birth of their baby. But it's really important that we understand that that actually goes up significantly. So 50% of men experience postnatal depression if their partners also first experience postnatal depression. So that really is a sobering statistics, I guess. But it's really important for us to pay attention to it because we need to do something about that. Men need to have the support, they need to get the professional input that they need, and as best as possible, both mum and dad need to support each other, which is a really tricky thing because I guess if we're talking about that particular statistic, it would suggest that both are really struggling. And so they need to have a look outside of perhaps the relationship at times to get some of that added support. The other thing that really stood out for me, but having said that, it doesn't surprise me, it's certainly something that my own husband has said, is that all men feel enormous pressure to, I guess, be the rock of the family. And it can actually be that pressure that prevents them from getting help or seeking help, to be honest. So yeah, that's I guess, again, really important. We need to watch our men and we need to really encourage them to talk to their mates first and foremost, and then if they're really still struggling, we need to encourage them to speak to professionals and get some support. The other thing that I learned, and I've got a list of things, it was just fascinating today, is that how they experienced parenting was not surprisingly really influenced by their sense of parenting competence. So the less competent that they felt as a parent, then the more likely they were to experience, I guess, symptoms of depression and anxiety. And the really interesting thing is that a lot of research is actually also showing that dads have a significant role in their child's emotional and behavioural regulation. And that significant role, though, they are only able to play that if they're really all hands on deck and involved. And the problem is when they're actually feeling less than competent, dads tend to, I guess, throw their hands in the air a little bit and back off. And of course, the more they back off, then the less impact and less positive impact they can actually have on their child's development. And as I said, the research is actually showing that not only just their child's development in general, but particularly their child's development of emotion regulation skills. So that was really important. So our men are really important. I mean, I've known that, but finally we're getting some really concrete information and evidence about that. Now, the final thing, let me add that that research that I kind of was talking about was undertaken by a PhD candidate, Holly Romanov, and she was just a great presenter, and I had a chat with her afterwards and really passionate about supporting men. The other researcher that I really loved listening to was Dr. Karen Winter, And she was looking at the bond that men experienced with their babies. And a couple of the factors that really negatively impacted on that bond were if dads had a history of depression themselves, if their own experience of being parented was really quite negative. But the one that really stood out for me, because most of our community in the Conscious Mother are mums, and so I really, really want you all to listen to this. One of the hugest factors, or one of the biggest factors in how a man bonds with their baby, or how a dad bonds with their baby, is the quality of the relationship they have with their partner, and also how critical that partner is of the way they care for the baby, the way dad cares for the baby. Now, this is something that I have seen many times, personally and professionally, where women have an idea of how things must be done. And when I have observed it, what I have also observed is men often taking many steps backwards then and being less involved with their baby. And so it really makes sense that if that is, I guess, what happens, that they take many steps back, it's really not surprising that their bond with their baby isn't going to be as strong as we'd like. So conversely, the research was showing that if we were positive and affirmed our men's role and importance and capability and competence, yes, they're different creatures to us. That's one of the awesome things about men and women, and they offer something very different to what mothers often offer. And that difference is really important for babies, and we need to cherish that. We need to support our dads. They're learning just like we're learning. And if we can learn together and support each other, then dads are going to be far more involved in raising their babies, and they'll have a really lovely bond with their baby. And of course, as I'm telling you now, our research is telling us that dads are pivotal in their child's development. Thank you, Anne, for your comments. I'm so glad to hear or see or read that you agree. Yes, it is fantastic that we're getting this research. I mean, a lot of it's common sense, but I think there has been this massive push to do research in maternal mental health. I mean, that's one of the reasons I'm here and why I do what I do. And I mean, it's no less important, and I hope that it doesn't lose its importance just because we're starting to learn more about dads. I think what we need to do is just keep growing and growing and growing our knowledge about this area for both mums and dads, and continue to offer really excellent advice, support and intervention, professional intervention as well. So that was my learning for today. How cool was that? I'm just loving this conference. I feel so fortunate to be amongst such learned people, and the other patrons, guests, conference attendees are just fantastic to talk to. I've spoken with people from Spain, from the US, from all over the place, heaps of Aussies, of course. Still haven't met anyone else from Perth, and it's just been fantastic. I hope that's really helpful. And thank you yet again for contributing. I'm really glad that you are supportive of ongoing research, and also that you commented on my video. Thanks again. Have a great night. I'm going out for tea with the lady that presented on reflective functioning yesterday, and a whole bunch of us are joining her. So stay tuned. I might have some more comments about that too. See you then. Bye.